Good afternoon, Bridge Nation. It's 12 noon, high noon in Jamaica. Broadcasting from the studios of the Bridge 99 FM on Kingsway, near Halfway Tree, St. Andrew, Jamaica. Reaching out to Jamaicans everywhere in the world, giving you the news of the day, the discourse that can take place between two nationalists, the Honorable Colonel Charles Sr. and myself, and inviting you to share with us the pains, the joys, the prospects of your people. Even if you don't belong to us or you haven't been with us for many generations, we still claim you, see? We're an open society. We have high hopes for everyone. And so stay with us on the public eye for the next 2 hours. Call us, if you will, on the WhatsApp number. It's 876-551-5782. And on the studio line, it's 876-676-4996. The weather and other things are giving us some problems on some of our broadcast frequencies. 99.9 isn't so hot, but 99.1 and 99.3 are doing quite well. So make sure that you keep in touch with the Bridge. And you can download the mobile app from the Android Play Store or the Apple Store. It's the Bridge 99 FM. And remember, we're strong in our presence on the internet, and you can not only hear the voices but see the people. Later on in the program today, Mr. Lenworth Kelly is president of the Master Builders Association of Jamaica, and he's saying quite clearly that local builders are having a difficulty competing against some of the foreign contractors who are coming in to Jamaica. What's the source of that? And how long and to what extent is the construction industry going to be affected in this way? And later on in the program, after 1 o'clock, Dr. Leakim Samaj, he calls himself an ideator. We think of him that way, and also as a psychologist of note, a public commentator. He's written a book about purposeful retirement. Yes, I suppose you will immediately point fingers at Pearl and myself, senior citizens, but never mind. So many of our Jamaicans, and indeed it's a question for the young as well as the old. So join us on the public eye. This is the Bridge 99 FM, special station, special program. So, Mr. Charles, greetings to you, sir.
Greetings, my brother.
Yes, all is well. What is burning in your heart today?
Well, I tell you, I am very unhappy about this competition among gangs as to who is having more people killed or die in their constituency, their parish. Where did I get that from? It was evidence in court that the gang leader would ask, how many man them say kill in Montego Bay? We say 40. How much in Westmoreland? 42. And we only gone 32, and we have to make it up. Now, it sounds like a joke, but it means that life don't mean anything to them. What is it they have lost? What is it that they are looking for? What is it they're home to gain? Now, does presenting the quantity in news every night and in the papers every day, does that have something to do with telling them? Can something be done there? Can we examine the police saying they have killed 10, killed this? We have a problem. Well, trust me. I am worried about not only the murder rate, but how it is being created.
Okay, but then let's look at it. Vital point you're raising. First of all, instinctively, you react and I would react to the suggestion that we should suppress news. That's valuable.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
But at the same time, it is.
You can manage and suppression is different.
I hope it is. One of the things I wanted to take up with you today is, in my view, those terrible statements by the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, a man who I respect, Dr. Horace Chang, about shooting on sight if the police feel that they are being confronted.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that. But the question I need to ask you is, why is it that we have people, growing up people, successive people, no matter how many die, how many are killed, how many migrate, why is it we have so many people who are careless about life, who are so disrespectful about their own lives, about other people's lives? And to help, for you to fill out an answer for me, please know that while the problem with the gangs that you speak of is undoubtedly in front, what we've been seeing in the last couple of months, which no state of emergency, no Zozo can deal with, is interpersonal conflicts leading to murder of the most terrible and egregious sort, where boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife.
Are you concluding without saying babies?
Yes, sir. Babies.
Let me tell you something. How do you tell me, Ronnie, that a 8-month child, beautiful, can be taken up and you put a gun in that child's head? And not only that, show that child in fire.
Oh, God.
Ronnie, let me tell you, none of the murders that has happened over the last year.
And there have been other children too, but that one is, of course, for so many reasons.
We have cried with children at school and this. But just consider a child who is just starting to walk, maybe can't even walk properly.
No, help us.
And you decide that that child is to be killed. You don't throw it on the sidewalk for me to find and carry.
No. So tell me now, sir, how we come so? Because we weren't always this way. Well, how we come, and very most importantly, what are we going to do about it? I have an idea, but I want to hear you.
Well, first thing I'm going to say is that cannot happen under normal circumstances. A man who is normal, not mentally ill, not drunk, either with liquor, some stuff,
drugs,
cannot, in my opinion, use the heart that God put him in, the brain that him get, and put a gun on an 8-year-old child or a child who is 6-year-old and rape her, and you're a normal man, and you rape her, not only rape her, you cut off her neck. No, I mean, but I have a problem with you, because they have reached a stage yet where you feel that there's an easy way. I'm opposed to hanging, but I'm not opposed to sleep away. It's easy for you not to sleep. Why should I pay for you?
It's not going to work. The history of the world tells you it's not going to work. Martin Luther King said it, Pernell, you cannot murder.
Well, Martin Luther King never have what we have.
He did, you know, but never mind that. It's a principle we're talking about. If killing people by whatever means could stop murder.
Is that a deterrent?
No.
You don't think a man would say, boy,
absolutely.
But I hear a man say, if there was one kill me, I'll kill you.
No, you have to go. I'm sorry, the problem is deeper. The problem is deep, and I'm amazed at a medical doctor.
I agree that the problem is deep.
I'm amazed that a medical doctor of the pedigree of Dr. Horace Chang has become so desperate at the obvious failure to curb crime. You've tried everything except the things that are really going to work. Yes, and he can say what he said, and we end up being outraged day after day, week after week, without asking the question and insisting on the hard issue. Why do people have such a disrespect for human life? What is it? Are they born that way? Are they educated that way? Are they miseducated that way? Yes?
Well, you just call a word that can fit in.
Yeah.
Why is it that you hear that you and a man carry out a liquor robbery?
Yeah.
Him owe you 40,000 to forget.
Yeah.
He is him playing domino down at the shop.
Yeah.
And he and another partner and 4 men playing and 6 men stand up on the table.
Yeah.
And you take 2 M16 and say just kill off everybody.
So there are a number of issues that are raised by that scenario.
Set it at the level and just turn it and kill it. Kill those playing and those standing.
What is the sense of power that a person is deprived of, that they feel they have to exercise that? Where are the guns coming from? Yes, big question never answered. What are the signs of a person heading in that direction? Yes, the school teachers that I interact with tell me that they can sense from very early on those children who are so maladjusted, have such mental health problems that they are likely, of whatever sort, that they are prone in that direction. Many may not go, but a few do go, and they're the ones. What is it to do these crimes? You have to have a level of self-hatred, yes, of disregard for yourself as well as for everybody else. Now come.
I will accept, Ronnie.
Yeah, what are we doing about it? Absolutely nothing.
But there are a few innocent people who will fire the gun and say, Lord God, me kill him.
No, we're not talking.
Yeah?
Okay.
But there are those now, I don't know, at that age, 20 or 30 odd, he has missed out on training period.
What we know is that children who are exposed to violence early in life are more likely to continue it when they, as a recourse to whatever they think they feel outraged about later on. 2, there are some clear things. Children who go to Sabbath school and Sunday school, yes, are less likely than others to become violent in other ages. 3, where there's sufficient parental supervision.
That's number one.
Absolutely.
Number one.
Absolutely. And I want to pause. I heard Minister Williams, the Minister of Education, speaking about encouraging parenting training during the month of November. And I'm hoping that we can have an interview with the Director of the Parenting Commission about that. But that is a good step. But it is an inadequate step because we are still culturing the notion.
We're so far behind.
So far behind. And our culture encourages parental irresponsibility rather than parental responsibility. Now, you know that, and I know that from our own experience. You particularly have such a wonderful example, both in your past and your present. No, sir, these are the things that we are not dealing with. We are not dealing with them in any with any purposefulness, with any money, with the right amount of intensity. But they are central to the issue that you raise about this wanton violence, this corruption in the heart of man.
Well, Ronnie, I know. I use a joke to tell you.
All right.
Country boy like me.
Be glad.
Used to see the big frog them come out of the wall, right? And we all decide we'll take a lick off of him. And we lick the frog, he go bow. Right? And we laugh and lick the frog. My mother, who was I call her an angel, she called us. And that's where I get this statement that what is sport to you is death to the frog. Don't do it. Even those little things you're killing.
I understand, but that's part of it. It's a whole psychology of respect for life.
Yeah, but you start with the parents. I am in full support of the minister. If we can get parents, and not only the women, because I have had problems in my constituency with parent-teachers meetings where 90% are women, and we don't see more than 3 men.
But then, how a person, an accountant who is a strong tax expert, spoke with me the other day, interestingly at a funeral, and he was pointing out that we do not encourage marriage, we do not encourage faithful partnership, if not even going to church for marriage. We could use the tax policy, we could use the media, as we are trying to do here, little way. We could use so many ways in our culture, in every aspect of our life, to promote good parenting. We don't do it. We place the responsibility and the burden upon women of what age and pedigree and economic status to raise children. And we still believe that, nothing, if a man just lego himself and have 6, 8 children, and if him look upon them one time is all right.
When I went to the BITU,
yes, sir,
I heard that Buster used to have weddings on Sunday.
Right.
All 40 people come.
Yeah, Mrs. Bourne and,
right?
and Lady Huggins.
Exactly. Who said, look, you cannot live like that.
No.
The man at the bar, the wife is home with all the picnic
yes,
him,
sir.
and him have another set of picnic. So, him no go this one. and they used to have what they call multiple weddings,
Mass
just to
wedding.
try to get a mass wedding to get the family together.
But you see, this is not easy. This goes to the most intimate areas of human life. But all I'm saying to you is, with the big problem of the competition of gangs, with the domestic violence, which the government and the people generally have no clue what to do with, what are we doing? My suggestion is, just one, apart from the parenting, deal with the school children at their earliest stages. Yes?
So what we do with the big ones, them now, where the guns are really firing.
Work with them too, but you will miss.
Cut it off someplace.
You will miss with some of it. Cut it off someplace. Thank you, sir.
Bring up the young ones, so we're going to have a change at some
At
area.
some point, but you can. That doesn't mean you let go the teenagers and the youth.
No.
Hello, I have a radical thing, so put it to you. Not one male or female of working class age supposed to be out of work, whatever it is that you get them to do, they must do it.
Yeah, but how are you going to get them to do that?
Listen to me. If you, I've told you before, if state of emergency, have to come for that, rather than lock them up and cost people money, and then have no charge against them and make them sour worse. Yes, that I'm in favor of. I want a works program. I want the hope program that this prime minister believes in. I want it to move into hundreds of thousands of young people, yes, so that people have something to do. So that is what we must spend our money on, not on 17-story building and thing abroad.
You know what I know, what will come out of that, Rennie?
Yes, sir.
If you put 5,000 boys
Yes, sir.
up at camp,
Uh-huh.
you know that you're going to get about 3,000 good ones.
That's fine, of course. And the rest we know how to deal with.
And the rest, it is smaller for us to handle.
And more
But
so,
if you do anything of 5,000,
look how you and I can agree, because what happens is that those who don't take, yes, we know them better. We know who they are. We know where they are. And there we said to them, listen, you're not interested in bettering your life, in live good, to use the national security motto, yes. So you will mark, yes. Come now, yes, or else you're going to see there's going to be a problem.
And I tell you something, there's a voluntary point in it,
Yeah.
You're both boys together like that,
Yeah.
and them see 4 guys,
Yeah.
dress well,
Yeah.
and turn. They influence them,
Of course, sir.
They influence them rather than get them to come back.
And it's not just to do some work. You indoctrinate them. Yes. I'm using polemic words. You indoctrinate them. You say, listen, if you don't keep up this way, it's pure arms house, Maypen, jailhouse you look for. Yes? What you need is come and do something, and we show you the word and the work up. We do it, but what we do it is for a few people, and we say, look at this one. This one was on the wrong path, and him accept Jesus, and him do this, go to that program, and see him good now. Okay? But we must not take the exception for the rule. We must make the rule for everybody, Mr. Charles. Everybody.
Well,
Don't tell me you can't afford it. Because that you must afford.
Well,
that's what the army must do.
if you tax me on that,
Yes, sir.
I won't cry with
No,
the taxes.
look at that. Look at that. And I think everybody would go along with that. Let's take one particular area where it works so well. Mr. Kelly, good day, sir.
Good day, Mr. Pedro.
I'm well, thank you. Thank you so much for being patient with us and for joining us on the public eye. We broadcast to the diaspora particularly. They're anxious to hear your voice. And may I introduce you to the Honorable Pernell Charles, who is a co-host.
Mr. Kelly,
Hello, Mr. Charles.
how are you?
I'm all right.
Good, sir.
I hear that you are conscious about a matter that we have been talking here, and you want to guide us as to what can be done.
Mr. Kelly, we're picking up on remarks that you made recently regarding the inequity, is that the correct thing, or the difficulties that local contractors, master builders, have in doing the work that is necessary for all the developments in the country, and the disadvantage that you experience in comparison to certain foreign companies who have advances. We believe in putting our people first. I without knowledge, and I think Mr. Charles has more knowledge, we believe that our Jamaican contractors can do all the work necessary for developing Jamaica. Are we right?
No, that's not what we're saying.
Okay, correct us.
No, so let's take it from there. Then.
I didn't get that. You say we are right?
No, he said we're not right.
We're not
That's
right.
not what- no. So that's not what we're saying.
Okay, go along with you with that.
Right. So government would know their plan. Government would have made projections. So wherever we are now, one would imagine that government, street agencies and ministries would project that we're going to be undertaking some level of infrastructure works and other developments. We're going to be putting hospitals. I don't imagine that we turn up hospital right there tomorrow. And so in knowing these things, there are projections. So where are your projected growth areas? So let us take one, for example. Let us take BPO. If they are focused on growth in BPO, what support does that need for the indigenous operators to be able to maximize their participation in it? That's where we're coming from. So you're going to say you want to do a highway down the center of the island, right? But you're going to get funds from some other country, and naturally they will want to impose on Jamaica what their requirements are. So you're not just getting the money from them, but they have to use my contract, they have to use so on and so on. Right? What we are saying here, Mr. Tweed, is the government ought to negotiate for maximum local participation. They must negotiate for things like technology transfer and so on. It can't just be that we are getting an item without significant local input. The number one, during the construction, there's not the economic benefit that we could have had, the throughput to the local economy that we could have had if there was a greater involvement of local participants. Because the money stays here, the money goes back out. And so what we're saying, so you make other allowances. You make allowances for duty-free, tax-free, and so on, but at the same time, you expect us to compete without those similar benefits. And we have asked for windows to be able to also bring equipment in and so on, but those are falling under this.
Well, hold on, stop there, sir, because this goes to policy, and we seek to influence it. What does a foreign contractor get that a local contractor is not entitled to?
Duty-free. They get duty-free imports and some tax exemption, GPT exemption.
So
hold on, explain that to me. What duty-free they get that you cannot get if you apply for?
So Mr. Charles, you may not be aware. Let me just put it that way. That in their arrangements with government, certainly there are exemptions. Exemptions are given for importation of material and equipment. I would imagine that most people are aware of that.
No, but it's important to emphasize it. And this, let's be specific. We're not being invidious. That applies, I believe, to the bauxite companies, and it applies also to the Chinese contractors, or contractors and builders from abroad who are part of the same arrangement.
That arrangement, right?
So
the local gets no such benefit.
So your cost of business is immediately
higher,
uncompetitive.
Yes.
But why is it uncompetitive?
Because they have to pay duty on their backhoe and their bulldozer and their cement mixer, whereas ex-China company or ex-bauxite company can bring in their trucks for them, everything, without paying duty. How is that fair? Why the hell do we do this?
Take it easy.
No, I'm not taking it easy.
No, I want it because I've been involved in that. And I've asked the questions. If Mr. Brown, Jamaican, and Mr. Clark, American, wants to bid on a hotel in Montego Bay to be built,
Sure.
And Mr. Man in America said, listen, I have 5 tractors I want to carry to Jamaica. Bill and take my tractors back out. Mr. Clark in Jamaica.
Bill and take your tractors back out.
Yes, to take them back.
No, but
they have to take the machine back.
Does that happen, Mr. Kelly?
We don't know of any such instance.
You don't what?
Does not know of any
no
such instance. Not taking any machine back out.
Yeah, but
Using
okay.
it to underbid the Jamaican contractor in succeeding arrangements. Under that, Mr. Kelly?
That's right.
You people
Mr. Kelly, tell me something now. If you want 4 tractors to build, and the man who's coming have 4 tractors duty free, what is the position? Don't you can get it duty free too? Huh?
It's a reduced cost to him.
That's exactly the situation that the master builders are complaining about. I stand on the side of the master builders. We are treating our own people unfairly. We continue a colonial practice of benefiting the foreigner more than we benefit ourselves. It is so deeply entrenched in us that we can't get it out of our psyche.
Let me ask Mr. Kelly a question, because I don't want to sound as if I'm defending foreign contractors. I want to say that when I was in my early days,
yes, sir,
20 and 30 years ago, Jamaica had some master builders.
Yeah, where you think you don't have them now?
Some die, and some migrate, right? The new engineers that come on board, right? They don't establish themselves like the Scots and the this and the that.
So it's for them fault.
Right? Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's for them fault.
Let's ask Mr. Kelly.
I would not say it's their fault. I would say, however, that when I was in cabinet, I was told that the present people who are coming were told that you have to work with some Jamaican contractors.
No, this is a different point. We're coming to that. Mr. Kelly, help us to understand. Mr. Charles is saying that old-time Jamaican contractors used to be stronger than you people know.
You see, Mr. Charles will probably speak more to what he's familiar with. We very much have those competencies, expertise, and so on his idea, and many of those contractors, Mr. Charles, are still around and just not getting an opportunity to participate in some of these projects.
That is what it bothers me when you say not getting an opportunity
to
participate. Is it the competition keeping them out, our policy?
Well, I can't speak to policy. I can only speak to what comes to us, because oftentimes policy seems only to be known by those who institute it and not those who are subject to it. So we are talking about the outworking of processes. We still have people here, and when a contractor goes for lengthy periods without work, then his business it starts to fold.
Sure.
Because he needs contracts to operate.
Sure. But then hold on, sir. Mr. Charles is very familiar with the just an instance, which is the South Coast Highway.
Yes.
Yes. And my concern, he has often told me that Mr. Kelly, that the disappointment of the Jamaican contractors who apparently have let down the subcontracts that they got from the China Harbor people. It makes let me use the term UNO. It makes UNO look bad.
All right, so we are quite aware of the optics. We have engaged with in discussion with some. We have gotten in some extent an appreciation of what they face there. So let's bring that one into focus. So number one, local contractors are operating under a main contractor who gets exceptions that they don't.
Okay, that's the first injustice as far as I see.
He gets what?
They get
Right,
privileges.
they get exemptions.
They get exemptions
that
the local man doesn't get.
Right.
But the local man has the right to demand from that contractor what he thinks is in the contract for him.
For him equipment?
Of course.
No, he can't. But Mr. Charles, he can't demand the exemption from the contractors that are given by government. It's government which is these things. So he can't.
Sir,
but let me continue. Just allow me to continue. Now, one of the things is that if I have a contract with government, you are not privy to that, The contract is between parties, but the public would have an interest in the government's role in it.
Yes.
So what happens is that the contract are between the main contractor and the subcontractor.
Right.
And so the government cannot impose anything in that situation. It is the main contractor who has to speak. I've never heard the main contractor speak. You want a job, when a client comes, they're not talking to your subcontractor, they talk to you.
Yes.
And then if the client is dissatisfied with anything, then you deal with your main contractor. Now in contract, let me just be clear, in contract, you put up what is called a bond, a performance bond.
Right.
Usually with cost. So if your contract is $1 billion, you have to find $100 million worth of asset for the insurance company or the bank or whoever is the bondholder. You have to put that up. So you are at risk,
Yeah.
I are not able to do that.
You are at risk, don't just come willingly and feel like you don't. You are at risk. I'm saying oftentimes the stories are not told in detail as to what are the true issues, right? But it comes out in the media, and my certain curiosity is that why the main contractor never speaks, but there's always a representative of government who speaks on their behalf.
Well, because the main contractor holds the government, I can't say to ransom, but in thrall. And secondly, I talk it straight. There is strong feeling in the country that the main contractors contribute heavily to certain political causes.
Well, that sentiment is
I have never gotten anything.
Mm-hmm.
No, sir,
You have never gotten anything.
No, we wouldn't.
No, because I think that the point that he's making, which I am worried about, is whether or not the Jamaican contractor has a right to
No, he doesn't.
make a bid and a job.
Yeah, but he can't compete.
Why can't compete?
Because he doesn't have the exemptions that the next man has.
That is what I would like to find out.
No, that's not. That's an established fact, sir.
If I were a contractor, you couldn't give Mr. Brown free access with four traps,
so
and I can't get free access if I want to bring them in.
Why haven't the master builders objected to
We have objected in the strongest terms. I've done articles, numerous letters to the certainly to the Prime Minister, because we hold him as the minister in charge of the sector, because then it's not clear. The sun keeps shifting, and we have had no response on any of those matters. None.
No response.
No response.
Yeah. So what does the future hold out for the master builders, for the Jamaican contractors?
Bleak. It's bleak, Mr. Chris, and let me just kind of shape it for you. Remember, part of what we look at is future, right? And that's critical for us at the IMAJ, the practitioners who are coming. So the engineers who are coming out, the technicians who are coming out, and certainly the trades that we are training and doing some form of apprenticeship, because you still have to keep investing in them. And the question is, what is in there for them? Because there's a seriously a turn-off, because you can't see how you're going to survive in an industry in a country that, well, it is yours, and I think we owe that to them, for them to be able to see how they can make Jamaica the place for them to live, work, raise their family.
Sure. Mr. Kelly, let's just take a short commercial break. When we come back, we need to look at specific things that we would like to see change so that there can be justice and opportunity in the construction industry. Mr. Lenworth Kelly is the president of the Incorporated Master Builders Association. This is one of the structural issues that is affecting Jamaica's development projection. This is the Public Eye on the Bridge. We'll soon come back. Thanks for being with us on the Bridge 99 FM. And this is the Public Eye. I'm Ronald Thwaites. The Honorable Colonel Charles is a co-host. And our guest is Mr. Lenworth Kelly, the president of the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica. They claim that they are being disadvantaged by foreign competition and they're not being given the same exemptions and the same opportunities as those who come from abroad. I'm sympathetic with them. Mr. Charles is questioning whether they have the competence, whether they have the capacity to really stand up and do the work that's necessary for Jamaica's development.
Before we get to the competence, let Mr. Kelly know that you and I would walk with them if you're going to tell me that the Jamaican contractor is similarly capable of doing a job and the foreign contractor is brought in with privileges that makes him come in X below that man.
Yeah.
And the Jamaican contractor can't get that privilege. I will march with you, Mr. Kelly.
All right. So let's take this further now, Mr. Charles.
Please do.
Yes. So matters of capacity. Let me just put something in context for you. China Harbour is part of a construction group whose annual revenue is multiple times the budget of the government of Jamaica.
Sure.
So when you're talking about capacity, we don't have anybody who can compete with that, right? But then there are levels to everything. So what is your ultimate objective as a government? So let us say you have government-to-government arrangement. Let's do a road, the Chinese are financing this argument sake, so they say use their contractors. All right? We know all that is, you are bound to that. But how do you negotiate? What is in there for technology transfer? What is in there to ensure maximum local participation? How is it structured? Right? What is in there to ensure that we have the labor component for certain is we have most of that labor component, even except where you have specific trades that we don't, specific areas of expertise that we don't hire people for. Yeah. So like we would say, let's just say crane operators. We weren't doing a lot of what we call high-rises. So we would say, okay, fine, you bring some crane operators in. Where are the Jamaicans that are paired with them to ensure we don't need to always be bringing in crane operators? Or is it 10 years from now we're going to still say, oh, we need to bring in more crane operators?
Sure, which is a pattern.
So there's no plan. That's what I'm saying. We know we're going to do these things. And if you look from here now, what should we be doing in terms of projects 5 or 10 years from now? And then what are the government plans to ensure local participation to be ready for 5 years or 10 years from now? Or 5 or 10 years from now, we're going to be having the same argument we have been having for the last 5 or 10 years.
Is it the government that has to say to the contractors in Jamaica, guys, get yourself together so that when a big job comes, 3 and 4 of you can outbid any Chinese or anybody, American, who come? What is it? Why is it that government has to come in to tell you how to do it and you don't tell them what you need to do it? If they are going to give foreigners X, you must get X plus 1. As far as I'm concerned.
We have not been shy in sharing our views on this matter. We have not been shy. We have shared it in the media. We have written articles, and we have written to the government. We have written, right? We have made sure we don't just come out and talk. We don't just come on your show, Mr. Charles. Right? These things are shared, so you can ask out there. Our issue is not, per se, a foreign contractor coming here. We have had foreign contractors before now. Our issue is one of equity and maximizing local participation. When the system is not set for the local to develop, you can't talk about national development. There's no national development without people development. And if our people are not being developed, then what are we having?
So if you got the same exemptions, would that end the story?
No, it wouldn't end the story. No, it wouldn't end the story.
Go ahead.
Because, right, so there are other things at play now. You in dealing with with China, they usually deal with the government of China.
Sure. Yeah, and they bring their capital too.
Limited resources. We can't get those interests, right? We don't have the level of technology that they do. Remember, this is David and Goliath scenario. So what we are saying, when you are doing certain types of things, yes, you're going to say they have to participate. We have never said they shouldn't. What we are saying is, what have you carved out for locals? What is in there for locals to participate? Well, there's asked a question, what is in there to ensure transfer of technology?
I like that.
Participate, so you can transfer these things. Some such as you can.
Yes, so when the Chinaman is leaving, right? He should leave that technology with you,
except
so that him don't have to come back.
No, he has no intention of leaving.
We have to make sure that happens, Mr. Charles.
But he has no intention.
Sir,
He has no intention of leaving, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Charles.
Why?
Because the work is here and he's going to get it. You don't understand. Look here. I understand him.
He's going to get it over Mr. Kelly, who can meet the demand for what the contract called for.
Probably yes. But
No. Because if that is so, then me and you are not supposed to run the mic.
No.
We're supposed to be out the leading Mr. Kelly.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be out the
that is the truth of the Jamaican economy, sir. It is designed to help overseas people, not us. From sugar time come up. This is the point I'm making. The bauxite companies get their exemptions too, and what are they doing? Raping the countryside of Jamaica.
Mr. Kelly, why you guys are so silent then?
He's not.
We are prepared. I don't hear you make no noise.
That's why we have him here.
Right? I want you to tell me I must join you Monday morning because the Montego Bay Hospital was being built by Jamaican.
Was it?
Couldn't be built.
Was it?
God.
Mr. Charles, I would suggest that you get the details on that. But I suffice to say, I will just share this with you. And just some people to appreciate quickly. I think some officials were hasty to speak about the cost of what it would take to remedy the situation, because that was built from 1974, and government maintains nothing. So you're pretty much building a brand new hospital. Yes, you have the structure there, but the nature of what needs to be done. So I put that clearly there and ask anybody to dispute it. The next thing, they bid the thing in packages, right? And have them say which of the packages persons have not performed on, because all the packages will be there or issued out. Remember, the children's hospital is a gift from the Chinese, so they will build that. You can't say anything about that, right? So once the things come up, they come up for bid. Those in the know this is up for bid, and they go out and bid. When you're not hearing any bid, then you ask questions. How is this work issued without a bid?
Sir, I'm going to throw something before you. One look Jamaican and one look foreign. I see some green something around some big building in Kingston.
Yes.
Some green net.
Yeah.
And somebody tell me that's foreign contractor. And I see some wood down Hagley Park and a high building that if you blow full, it look like it will come down. I hear that is being built by a Jamaican. Now, that is an exhibition of prejudice. No, I take two bad ones to put before you, because that does not say that good buildings are not being built by our Jamaican contractors.
You know what I would want, sir? I would want the Jamaican contractors to be put on a footing where they were held to account to do work of a standard of the highest standard, and that they would be the ones who had a major input when they said, look, we need technical expertise, or we need green cloth rather than wood in order to be able, from abroad, in order to be able to complete this and to do it well. But
I'm going to hire you to tell me now. I am the leader now, and I want to build this road. And the politician is crying, everybody is crying, say them road bad and want a bridge, right? And you tell me now, how are we going to get this build bridge in 6 months, right?
Mr. Kelly would have no problem answering you. You don't need to hire me. Mr. Kelly will tell you that he needs overseas help.
So, Mr. Charles,
yes.
one of the things wait.
No, sorry. Don't get me wrong, that because you build my bridge in Clarendon, No foreigner never come there, but go ahead.
Yeah. Right. So one of the things to ask them do, and I don't know if it's culturally ingrained. If a foreign is better. Right?
It's very culturally ingrained.
Yes. Right. And so we don't pay attention. So I'd ask the question: who was building Jamaica before we got to this stage?
Yeah, sure.
Because that is what did everybody disappear. The practitioners are here, but let me tell you, Mr. Charles, so when you do a bidding, say you do one of those IDB bids, and when you look at where we come in versus where our friends from China come in, it's charged to you. You're bewildered. Like, how can you come in at that point? Way below your cost. And we know application of people who have tried to compete with them with that low model and are out of business now because you're running into severe losses. So the truth is that their government supports their forays into foreign markets. They have that government support from their distant land.
In terms of what?
Have our government support
Give us an example.
But when you can bring in 2% or 3% capital, and you can get the exemptions because of your size and influence with the host country, the place where
and allowed to bring in cheap labor. Who competes with that?
Who can compete with that, sir? No, I mean, the thing, can we say to our people in the diaspora, can we begin by we're not blaming any particular administration, we're just talking the truth. The way the thing's set is to benefit people outside of Jamaica, not to help Jamaicans. We get help in that we get the project built. Okay, fine. We pay for it until God comes. But
fine?
No, not fine. But they accept. And our contractors get weaker and weaker, dissipate, have to go to Dubai and Qatar in order to find work. And their machinery gets run down so that when indeed they are called upon, they can't manage.
Ready? We want Mr. Kelly.
Let him answer us.
We want Mr. Kelly. 1 minute, Mr. Kelly. I want you to tell me and Ronnie today that what you need us to do and invite our foreigners, our diaspora, and our Jamaican in the national Jamaican interest. Now this is nationalism. Jamaican and foreigners, wherever the foreigner come from, America, China, what you need, what kind of backup you need that can match them, that you can do Jamaican work.
All right, so Mr. Charles, capacity is here. Let me just say that. Not capacity for every single thing. So before we even get to that, let me try and contextualize it. If we know that government has plans for, let's say, the next 5-10 years, or we are saying they're going to build out these areas, they're going to build out these things, and that conversation is taking place. Local contractors now get into a mode of preparing because they want to participate in that.
Yes.
Nothing is said, but you hear that we negotiate with that country and this contractor coming in to build that. Nothing is said. You cannot respond to these things overnight. You have to build out your capacity, step up your trade, giving people trade experience, bringing in more engineers. You have to start preparing for that. It's not like tomorrow you can just turn up and you have all these resources. Coupled with that, we are saying give us these exemptions too, so we can participate at least on that score. We are also saying there has to be some serious regulation of labor that's coming in. And if you are saying we need this labor coming because these are specialized skills, then show me the plan for the locals who are sitting with them. So when them done them year, them 2 year, their contract, we say, okay, say 100 locals here, we can draw from to do the same job. So it's not a one thing, Mr. Charles, it's a whole range of things. Yes, we can compete on them in terms of finance. They get full support from their territory with interest rates we can only dream of. So we are saying on the other aspect, level out the playing field and ensure that we can compete.
What Mr. Kelly, one other thing that many people say that another uncompetitive aspect of the master builders is the attitude and productivity of labor, whereas the Chinese appear to be able to do twice the work of a Jamaican labor. Any truth in that?
All right. So yes, you will see that in some aspects. The truth is that you see the negative, and so we would certainly have to drive that. And I've said before, that there are positives that we have taken from them. They have brought here systems and so on. Let me give you an example, Mr. Trade. My company have done a contract in Trinidad back in the 90s, right? And usually, you get there, they say, oh, you get work down here. And Trinidad and company don't get it. And I understood that. And we took a few persons with us and then we used Trinidad. And so we didn't have, I don't think we had 4% of the labor force. 3 or 4% of the labor force. And what you found out, we are there to do that job. We have nothing. We don't have any family to go home to at evening time. We don't have any children to stay after school. We don't have to travel from nowhere. So we get to site 6 a.m. The Trinidadians arrive at 8.
Oh.
They leave at 5, 6. We leave there at 10 p.m. because all we do is going home to lie down and come back. So I can understand that,
Yeah.
So we are a lot more productive in that environment.
Yeah.
But a guy who has to go home and come back and go home and come back and say about his family and get to with public transport and all these things, you're just not going to get it like that. So what a lot of local contractors do is they build lodgings, temporary lodgings, when the project is big enough. So workers, your move workers can come from Westmoreland, they can come from Fenton River, stay there, but that is also the contractor has to undertake that cost to put them there. So I can understand. And man just get up midnight in working.
Yeah. So
let me add one, so because as a minister, former minister of labor, the Chinese had a man who will cook.
Yeah.
And will throw mortar. And will line up job. And he was an engineer. Right? The Jamaican is only a man who going to throw the mortar.
Or cook.
That is why Perkins said that one Chinese man can do 4 Jamaican. Not that he can do 4 Jamaican man, but he's skilled in 4 areas. You understand?
But then say
the Jamaican man now at a disadvantage can have to find 4 men.
Well, but then
that's an exception, That's an exception.
Yeah.
What you're representing is not. That's rather uncommon, and we have people here who can do a whole range of things, right? But you the thing is that when we bring the examples that we like, we don't. If for some reason we can't see the examples in our own people, it's almost like we are blind to them. And I ask the question: how was Jamaica being built before?
Right, and it was being built.
People are still here, Mr. Charles. They haven't gone anywhere.
Yeah.
We lose because construction is not happening here. Man going overseas and then not getting them back.
Yeah.
But the people are here.
Yeah.
I believe that the Jamaican contractors are not. You're not wild enough, man. You're not talking enough.
They shouldn't have to be. Why should they? No, they shouldn't have to be.
But Randy, you had to.
Yeah,
you had to.
And
I had to.
No,
why you going wait to come for you?
You
have to put yourself on there and get man behind you, man. What are you talking about?
Nobody
going to come give you.
Mr. Charles, what are you proposing? Because I would love to hear. I know your roots are in the union, so I would love to hear.
No, I am. Let me tell you something. I am a nationalist, and I have to support the Jamaican contractors.
Yeah.
But I am not going to say the Jamaican contractors have to get 10 times the amount of money to build a thing, but a foreigner could build because you have the politics.
Nobody is saying that. Nobody is saying that.
So, but where I was happy was when you share an agreement and you're a foreign contractor, you have to have 2 Jamaican local contractors on your bidding power.
Well, that doesn't exist now, does it, Mr. Kelly?
No, because they often, when it comes to you, it's clear to you who did it already.
Yes. So it's all tied up.
And when it comes to bid, like the multilateral projects, which are international, yes. You can see the clear. You can see there's a very clear line.
Yes.
Nobody beats the Chinese in those days.
Got your point, sir.
And we are saying,
Yes.
how do you protect us? There are a range of things they can use. You go to South Africa, they use what they call a margin of domestic preference.
Yes.
So you have to,
Margin of
be lower than the
direct domestic
local.
preference.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
You have to be lower than
And
there.
you're not objecting to them being here, right?
No, but
No.
But you said that.
We are not objecting to that.
Yes,
So we have to
yes.
find a way how they can work with
you
the
said it
Jamaicans.
right now. Why don't
That is correct.
why don't we follow South Africa and give our local people a margin of domestic preference? Because when they get paid by us for till God comes, yes, the money is going out for them. They leave the labor and they leave the product, but the profit is not staying here. The
And
profit is going back.
They buy the dollar at a rate that's not the money.
So you see how you know. Mr. Kelly, we stand with you in the struggle. So thank you so much for explaining. This program is always at the service of the master builders.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, sir.
All the best. Thank you very much.
All
Mr.
right, Mr.
Lenworth
Kelly.
Kelly is the
Okay.
president of the Incorporated Master Builders Association of Jamaica. Systemic injustice, masking itself, caricaturing itself as market forces. The Public Eye will return after this break. The House of Representatives in the United States now has a speaker. That's very good. Yes, let's hope that he holds the gavel equitably. I'm disappointed in our speaker. The issue is when the Integrity Commission or any other commission of Parliament writes a report to the House of Representatives, right? Writes a report to the Speaker. Yes, there has to be a question and answer, a dip and fall back as to whether that is brought before the chamber, whether it is the House or the Senate.
It is not sent to the Speaker for himself, you know.
That's what. So
It is sent for the Speaker to lay it on the table.
so why Mrs. Holness not do it?
What should it?
She said no, she have to take advice and it's not ready yet and the opinion isn't final. This is foolishness.
No, but hold on. So you have to know the content of what is sent.
No, but the content is an opinion from the Attorney General about what the law, an interpretation of the law regarding the tabling of reports. And Mrs. Philibert, the previous speaker, remember she said that unless it had been referred to a ministry and 30 days had elapsed, she would not lay it. And that was a contentious issue. What you know why I'm against what is happening? Because the confidence of the people already low about their political representatives is being put further low, because the immediate thing is, what is it that the Attorney General said? What is it that the Integrity Commission said? Well, you know what we know right now? Where you hold up?
Well, I tell you something. I discussed something with you this morning. As long as the political parties
Yes, sir.
keep cussing one another as they do it,
Well,
their followers will do the same thing,
thing.
and the country will in a bind.
Yes.
Because if you are my leader,
Yes.
and every labor right bad,
Yes.
and I am the
True,
leader,
sir.
and every PNP
Well,
bad,
come let us stand
Right.
against that. We have a caller on
No
the line.
problem.
Yes. Good afternoon, caller.
Mr. George.
Yes. Thank you for calling.
I have a problem with human rights. I don't understand how the human rights people and how they do the work. What I want to find out, if the police, men and women, if they don't have no rights. Because I hear the minister talk a thing and everybody picking up and the human rights, making up a night say it is not right. So the statement that the man said. But what I want to know, if I am a policeman and I confront with some criminal shooting at me, what I should do is I should just put my gun over them head and shoot and don't shoot back to them to kill them.
Nobody. But you're caricaturing a position. Nobody's. You're defending something which is not opposed.
When they are shooting.
You're not listening, eh?
Yeah. Go ahead.
The law is very clear, you know, and it applies to everybody. You have a right to defend yourself.
Yeah.
Yes. If you are in imminent danger, you have a right to defend yourself. And
No,
one moment, you have a right to, in circumstances, use deadly force. Nobody's opposed to that. That is the law. What we're saying is by the way, the call is on a very bad line. We hear so many sounds. Anyway, it's getting better. What we're dealing with is the abuse of that, sir. And it ill behooves you, if I recognize the voice of a senior person, to ask about, to question human rights. Human rights are embedded in the Constitution. That's what law is all about. So if you don't believe in human rights, then I wonder what you do believe in.
But I believe in human rights.
Well, you didn't say that at the start. You rather said the reverse, eh?
Human rights. What I really realize with these human rights people in Jamaica.
Who are they?
Is that they don't? Is that like even the policemen them don't have no rights? And
no, that is simply not so. That is simply not so. You must not. We will accommodate any argument, so which involves a contrary point of view. But when you say something which is simply not true, over 200 persons are killed by the police in Jamaica every year. Sometimes it's higher, and the majority of them, 90% of them, yes, are investigated and are considered legitimate use of force. So please, when you say the police have no right, you're leaning against all of the facts.
Sir, let me say this. I think you want to hear from me. And I question, if a policeman just look on a man and say him look dirty, him look like him come from X Street, so he must have a gun, or if he don't have a gun, you kill him. We can't support that. But if a man look on a policeman and point a gun at the police, and the police have a gun on his side and allow himself to be shot, you blame the police because he's trained to defend himself and defend me. But you cannot back up a policeman who is going to shoot a man because his head look nappy, as you'll say, or his clothes don't look clean, or him born in a particular area. We can't support that because that is murder.
I don't support that. I could never support that. You understand? But the way all the human rights people talk, it's that if the gunman finds some gun at the police and are shooting at the police, and the police shooting fire back to him, it's like
no, sir. I really have to correct you. First of all, let me declare, I have been a member of the Council for Human Rights since 1968. I am one of the human rights people, you see. I spent a large portion of my 53 years as a legal practitioner, yes, prosecuting instances where people's rights have been taken away by persons in the government, whether police or other elements. So you're talking about me now, yes? And there is what you are caricaturing human rights people to be. They are simply not. What we do not believe in is arbitrariness, is people breaking the law on the grounds that they are officials or they have some superior right. They do not. We are all human beings under the law in Jamaica, and we must all believe in it. This bit about what the police do if a criminal points a gun at them, there's no question about that. We've been quite clear regarding that. But that is not what is happening in many instances. People are killed by the police, and there is no gun recovered. There are no circumstances where they were forced to defend themselves. That is murder, just as Mr. Charles said.
I'm running. Let me say that. Hold on, sir. There are instances when the police will make a mistake,
Well,
because I know of a situation where a man had a piece of newspaper named belt, and him see a police, and him draw the newspaper, and the police shoot him. So, yes, and I can't blame the police for that. But when you see a man put up him 2 hands,
hard cases,
and you shoot him in the chest, that is not your job.
No, we remember.
I cannot support that.
We remember Green Bay, you see.
Yeah.
Caller, thank you very much for your input today. All the best. Good.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Good. Call again. Good. Dr. Leah Kim Samaj, greetings.
What's the magic there?
Helping us?
Kim, I don't know if are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi,
I don't know if
greetings.
you know that the American government has just been legitimized because they have now a speaker in the House.
Oh, yes, I just saw that finally.
Yeah, Mike Johnson, yes. And what they have done to get that, if we had done it in Jamaica, they would call them ambassador home.
Exactly. But, I think to a large, the Americans have defaulted on their right to make almost any kind of public national, international declaration regarding democracy, any such thing. They have been a perfect example of what not to do for the last 5 years or so.
I'm afraid so, that they seem to be heading further down that lane.
Yes.
It is so embarrassing because we so revere them and we so copy them, and look what they're doing. It's the example has proven to be a bad one.
Absolutely.
Dr. Len Kem Samaj, you speak about and you write about an issue which is very imminent to the Honorable Colonel Charles and myself. We are both senior citizens. You speak about retirement, which is a notion that both of us find elusive. Should we?
Yes and no. No, from the standpoint is that both of you could be almost poster child for how it is supposed to be. The worst thing, first of all, listen, I'd like to establish the foundation.
Yes.
The basic premise on which we build retirement was faulty. In 1889, when Bismarck determined the first retirement plan as such, life expectancy was about 45 years.
Mm-hmm.
Only 5% of people would reach age 65.
Wow.
So it wasn't intended to work. It never could work. Now we have persons who are living way past 65. If you make it to 65 now, your life projected years is at least 15 to 20 more years. That's what even in Jamaica. Now, it means that you're going to be living longer in retirement than you did in your last job.
Yes.
So we have to change people's mindset. The most important thing is the mindset preparation. By the way, the worst thing you can do is stop working. There's a blip in the mortality figure 2 years after retirement.
Yes.
Because the human body is not designed to do nothing. And even people who by the way, again, there are two images we see of retirement. One, people living in luxury, going on cruise on their yacht. Less than 1% of people will be ever able to do anything close to that.
Sure.
But the other image we see are people who are living in poverty,
Mm-hmm.
ill health, and rapidly decaying. No, that is visible. My position is that we can't get to the first one of that living in luxury, but we can avoid the last one. And there are many things we can do to make it the best year of our lives.
Give us some ideas.
Okay, one, keeping the mind and body active. I don't know about Ronnie, but I know that you, Pernell, you're a man you're an avid exerciser, and you've been doing so all your adult life. Exercise is the number one drug for longevity. Number one, bar none.
Well, the one that you don't know that I've been doing, my wife will tell you. You're not coming to bed. You're going to read all night.
Very important.
So,
the mind.
in other words, I read. And my father didn't get a chance to go to any school, so he read himself into education.
Yeah.
Yes, and I know that the issue of, look, even during the working life, the majority, less than 25% of Jamaicans in the private sector have any kind of pension to look forward to. All right? What the NIS have to offer is mere pittance. But if I was asked to, I could restructure the NIS to make it meaningful.
Wow.
The most thing I would do with NIS is a significant educational program to re-educate people about this thing called retirement. The same way, for the first 6 years of National Health Fund, I did a strategic plan. And the first thing I did, I changed the motto: your health is your responsibility. Okay. Your health is your responsibility.
Yes.
If you go into retirement, with the healthier you are, is the best invested you are. Now, the thing is, what are the products and service that you can provide, that you can sell? You won't be doing it 5 days a week or all day, but you can do 3 hours a day. You can do 3 days a week. What can you do? Now, if you have access to, look at what we're doing now. We're using radio, we're using telephone, we're using computers. Anyone who has access to those things, the amount of things that you can possibly do, it's incredible.
Yes.
So, it's that kind of preparation. One thing I would do, I would take, look, the NIS has money. First of all, I would raise the threshold for NIS contribution.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is all that most people in Jamaica will ever even have. Let's raise the threshold.
So it's a decent pension.
So it's closer to. It will never be decent, but it's closer.
Uh-huh.
But part of what I would do with the NIS fund, people who are in retirement, they could apply to NIS for a grant to start a business.
Okay.
Why do I say that? You have 40 years of experience working. You have all kind of ideas. If we give you a grant for $1 million or $2 million to start a business, there'll be two conditions. You must hire 2 young people and train and coach and mentor them. We're now trying to invest in young people who have no work ethics, no skills, no training. No, invest in people, older people with skills and talent. And so, look, they're going to take that money and make it work. At 65, you should be coming from prison, not going to prison. You're not going to keep the money. That group of people, they will become the mentors and the teachers that many of the young people never had.
Interesting.
Dr. Samaj, let me just throw one at you. Here is a policeman who has been sent on a high-tech course. And by the time the course was finished, he was 60.
Yes.
And he comes back to Jamaica full of vim and vivacity, as the man would say. And he has to, retire in 2 years. Where you think he end up in a security guard, right? What needs to be done is to look, as you have said, look at the whole question of retirement. And just because everybody reaches 65, some reach 65 at a young 40, some reach 65 at 70. So you can't just, because you're cut off, because some people just learn the work. They just train for the work.
What I would do with that,
and there's no opportunity for them to go out and do other work. Not everybody can get a work. Most policemen get a job.
That policeman, what he should do now is start his own business. He's now a security expert. He can provide work, he can provide consultation for the government, for the private sector, for other companies.
And most of them, that's what they have done.
Exactly. So it can be done, you see, because what happens, the first phase of retirement is the relaxation, the holiday phase. That will last about three months to 6 months, sometime a year. But after that, you start going to depression. Why? The bulk of the phone calls you get. Guess who not feeling well? Guess who dead? How many funerals a year do you attend, both of you gentlemen? How many funerals do you?
Whole heaps.
Is your most common social activity.
I have a professional proclivity for that, but it's true. Even if I didn't, you would still end up doing that because most of your contemporaries are checking out one by one.
But so you know that many of the people who are retired running are younger and more qualified than a lot of people who are working.
Well, this is the point, like one of the points Kim is making.
One of the things that I did a couple of years ago, I actually introduced this to the private sector. They would call me and say, we're looking for a young manager who to start a new division and so on. I said, hold a minute. I have a concept called tried and proven. I can find you a recently retired person who have all the skills you need, but they're not looking for full-time work. Mm-hmm. You bring them in for 3 hours a day, 3 days a week. They can get that division up and running in no time. And at the same time, they can even mentor the young manager to get him up to speed.
Right.
So I see. So that's the kind of rethinking that I think we really need to do.
No, that helps. That helps both the individual who has that opening, and it also fills...
At the productivity.
Of course, it fills a very vital human resource gap.
Yes.
Absolutely. I identified 6 paths to prosperity for Jamaica, and one of them is tried and proven. Retired people have wealth of knowledge.
Well, I think of the education sector, particularly, Pernell,
Exactly.
Lincoln, where our most experienced teachers, many of whom would love to continue or should be incentivized to continue, are put out when they reach a certain level. How do you answer, Lakim, though, those who say that you need that low retirement age in order to make space for the upward mobility of others who would become frustrated by the tried and proven?
Well, you see, no, but see, it's a problem. It's a human resource management problem we have. Look at when you look at American TV, you see the whole range of age. Persons like yourself and Pernell are an anachronism in Jamaican media, because the bulk of Jamaican media assume that everybody is under 25. But you gentlemen with the breadth of experience you both have, there's nobody in their 20s and 30s who could get anywhere close to the knowledge base that you have of how our systems work. But you see, we have a system in Jamaica. The idea you put people out to pasture to make room for young people. No, we have to. The whole thing about job creation, building the economy is the major role of government, and we have failed at that to a large extent. That's why we go for low-hanging fruit. So how many more call centers can we do? How many more of this? We have to start igniting the creativity in our people to solve big problems and pay them to do it.
Yes.
Why is it that everywhere you go in the world, you see a Jamaican at the highest level?
Yes.
Because that's where they got an opportunity. That's where they got a chance to do something. Because even in Jamaica, if we still have this penchant that if we have a big problem, we have to call in a foreigner to solve it.
We do.
And if we call in our local persons, we don't pay them anything close to what we would have paid that foreigner.
Doctor, many of our people who have been, and I'm going to use the word deliberately, pushed out of their job because they have reached a certain age, they go into a serious illness.
That's what he's saying.
Yes.
Then,
absolutely.
So maybe you should say job creation and job continuation.
Well,
because many of us should continue. Ronnie, what if you had to say you had...
No, it wouldn't last. But it's not just a quirk of my personality or yours. It's what Leakim is pointing out is that medical science has changed, life expectancy has expanded, and we're still working on the old rules which have no and one of the most pernicious things, and I'm grateful Leakim raises it, is this notion that when you finish working you live a life of luxury, which is just a futile. It doesn't make you happy, first of all, and secondly, nobody can afford it.
Put it on the opposite. There are many who have been, and I'm going to use the word deliberately, pushed out of their jobs by a certain age, who are worse off today, because there was no preparation.
No.
And where the cost of living has reached, what they are getting.
Let us be personal. Our pensions are a joke.
No, you want to be pension? You want to be personal? I got a card that I'm to take for medicine. Called old age something, right?
Uh-huh.
And when I presented it to get some pills, they said, not that on it.
Yeah.
But we can solve it. You see, but we have to start thinking this through.
Mm-hmm.
No, because even that whole notion you just mentioned, all right. I do believe, the issue of not just keeping the people on the job. I would really like to fuel them, this thing we call your encore career. There's some people, you may be in a job for 30 years and so on, but there's always something else you wanted to do. This other dream you had.
Sure.
Here's a chance to make it happen now.
And that's good.
So we have to make these kind of spaces.
Yeah.
Because, and I want, look, this notion about from day one, we socialize our children, go to school, study hard, pass your exam and beg somebody to work. Look, what happened in Jamaica is that the C and D students are the one that went out and started business. And they hired the A and B students to run it. In the information age now, the A and B students have the one starting business.
Yes.
Because it's brain power business that run the world now.
Yes.
So I want the A and B students to be leaving school, not with the intention of begging nobody to work, but to get an opportunity to build a job,
yes.
make something happen.
Yes.
I remember about 20 years ago at university, I told some students that, listen, if you're bright, when you leave here, you should start at least one job, a job for yourself. And if you're very bright, you must can make 2 jobs, one for you and for somebody else. Them start to cost me. No, man, I supposed to get corner office. I supposed to that kind of mentality, entitlement. The notion of job creation.
Yes.
And when your pension was set, it was years ago.
Sure.
And what is there now cannot go to supermarket.
So,
Dr. Samad, before you go, what about the AI situation?
The what situation?
AI. Intelligence.
Oh, listen, man.
Artificial intelligence. I've been reading all of these big ones.
First of all, 2 of them, look, the one that first made the big news, ChatGPT. Next month, ChatGPT will be 1 year. This year, ChatGPT as a company made $200 million. Next year, it's going to make $1 billion.
You read them over the weekend. I was reading them.
Yeah.
I use ChatGPT and another one called Perplexity. You know what I call them?
What?
My administrative assistants.
Oh, I need that.
Any problem, Ronnie, you just try it.
Yes.
They both have free versions. That's another thing. And you have the paid version. Even the free version, you're working on something, Ronnie, just type in the question, ask the question.
Yes.
In a matter of seconds, it will give you an answer. When I have to design a course, a 1-day course, a half-day course, and so on, so on, so, the first thing I do, I have many of those already designed. But what I do, I put the question into either ChatGPT or to other one, Perplexity. Design me a 1-day course that covers these kind of areas and so on.
Sure.
It does it in less than a minute.
But let me ask you a question. What is going to happen to the people who this is displacing? Because they are displacing people at the top.
But there's people who are putting that in so that you get the answer in 1 minute too. So
but you see, but exactly, but it means that people will have to. I never worry about being displaced because guess what? We more jobs are always created. Whenever every technology, just look. We said that TV was going to do this and video was going to do that. Look what was created. TikTok was unfolded in 2017. TikTok is now in over 150 countries. TikTok is something I don't even use, because I just see it as foolishness. But TikTok has generated billions of dollars. So I'm saying that we have to learn. Look, Alvin Toffler, very important book, but Future Shock came out in the 70s. And one thing that Toffler talks about, that the illiterate of the 21st century is not those who can't read and write, but those who can't learn, unlearn, and relearn.
So
unlearn, and relearn.
So, Dr.
One
Samaj.
moment, please, Purnell. Lakim Samaj, Purnell's question in a moment, and then you tell us about the book that you've written, where we can get it, that some of the other ideas that are contained therein. We need a short break. This is The Bridge on the Public Eye. Dr. Lakim Samaj is a guest on the Public Eye. I'm Ronald Thwaites. The Honorable Colonel Charles is a co-host. We're talking about retirement. We're talking about the building up and the proper use, the productive engagement of the talent of the Jamaican people. Colonel, you had a question? You remember it?
Well, he had. So that's because I was saying I was worried about
losing
AI
work.
moving the jobs from certain people.
Yeah.
And where those people, but he said that they can
the
create a
contributors.
platform or join the platform.
Listen, two things, a couple of things, gentlemen. if ever there was a position for the czar of retirement, I'm going to apply for that post, right? Because I call it the anchor leg of life.
Sure.
It must be the best leg.
Yeah.
Listen, I gave you examples from abroad a while ago with things like TikTok and ChatGPT. Let me give you an example that I found yesterday on Twitter. A Jamaican person wrote this. Listen to me carefully now. This man, he farms in St. Elizabeth. He says he was waiting 2 weeks for the spray man to come to spray him sweet potato. Couple acres of sweet potato. 2 weeks and the man don't turn up. Somebody told him about somebody he used a drone for spraying. He hired the drone sprayman. The drone sprayman used 1 drum of water as opposed to 3 drums that the sprayman would have used. The drone sprayman took 1 hour to spray the entire farm, whereas the estimate he got from the sprayman was 3 to 5 days. It was cheaper, faster, and more efficient.
Yeah.
Right here in Jamaica.
Well, that's excellent. I'm so glad you told us that story, because that means that the so many things. It means that we can use technology appropriately. It means that there's hope for neglected and almost given up sectors of the of employment and the economy, and it means that we can get more food.
Exactly, Ronnie and Perna. Go back to the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
The only people who could be spraying their plantation was banana and sugar, and you had these spray planes. Big money people. Now, you can buy a drone in a shop.
Yeah.
Drones are not expensive technology. So can you imagine now a fleet of drones now to illustrate? Look, the sprayman is going to complain, but the sprayman has to reposition himself. He has to learn, unlearn, relearn. The average cell phone that both of you gentlemen have has more capacity than the computer that was used to put a man on the moon in 1969.
So I've been told.
But what are we doing with it? Most people just use it almost just to play games and to send a few messages here and there. The technological capacity that we have working with, what we need is a mindset shift. A mindset shift.
Like, why are you criticizing me? I have a daughter who is a doctor of internal medicine. She came down to my wife's birthday. Ronnie was there. We were sitting. She said, "Daddy, what are you doing?" I said, "Well," she said, "Tell me, what did you like when you were small?" I said, "I wish that I had played a banjo, because the man who used to play the banjo in the district can't read, but he make the banjo talk."
Yes.
Right? And I wish that I had learned Spanish. She said, "You don't have no problem." She took my telephone. She called, she called Ronnie Tweet and said, "My father wants to learn Spanish." I said, "Okay, $25. And ready to start? Yes. Guess me, Freda. Me habla español, pero. Me habla español.
Yes.
Huh?
Exactly.
I learn it because I want to learn Spanish.
You soon reach the banjo.
I'm ready. I'm going to play that banjo.
I tell you,
Which you can learn it online.
Exactly.
Anything you wish to learn, you can learn for free online.
Right? You can learn to play the piano now.
I imagine so. Well, so the mindset now, Dr. Semaj, before time runs out on us, that is a big thing. Where does that start? Because some people feel threatened. Some people feel that they've aged out on this prospect. And here are you saying that retirement is that remarkable phrase you're using, the anchor leg of the race of life.
Absolutely. Because look what you did. You raised your children. You got your education. You build your family, and now you're emptiness. Now you have your life to yourself, and you're gonna have at least 20, 30 years. I tell people that what I currently do now, I'm training for the centenarian
Oh no, really?
Olympics. No, here's how you do it. Here's how the training goes.
Yeah.
You identify what are the things you enjoy doing, the physical things you enjoy doing, and you want to do it for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you start training for it. One thing I enjoy, long walks in nature, hikes.
Yes.
All right?
So you program that one.
Every other morning I do a 5K.
Excellent.
And in between I do weightlifting.
Wow.
Now, when I go to the market or the supermarket, I walk and I walk home with the goods.
With the goods. So that is weightlifting right there.
Exactly.
Walking and weightlifting.
Farmers carry.
Yes.
One thing I enjoy doing, I enjoy working out with my two sons. And my one is 40, the other one is 27.
That's bonding.
When I go to the gym, they can't keep up with me.
Look at that now.
And I don't want to lose that title. So that then we have to come catch me.
Yeah.
So whether it's deadlift or bench press or squat,
Yeah.
so that I'm keeping up with it. So
But
if you don't
like him looking at you on the camera.
Tell us. Go ahead.
I'm wondering, there's something special about you.
But I want to find out from him what
the hell have you done to yourself that you look better than all of us?
But he's just telling you exactly what it is, and you're not checking him. Kim, what led you to write the book, and what is the book about?
over the last 30 years, because I work with companies, whenever somebody's about to retire, oftentimes they ask you, could I do a little session for the person who's leaving? Mm-hmm. And then a number of companies would put all the people who are, say, 5 to 10 years away, and would do a one-day workshop for them. Yeah? Mm-hmm. The most common question I get asked, whether it's one person or 1 hour, or how come nobody told us these things 10 years ago, 20 years ago? So that's what motivated me. If I could get this information, package this information, right, so make it persons, by time you're in the second leg of life, you start thinking and preparing, because you realize that every leg of life, when you were a little boy, what you want to be when you grow big. Mm-hmm. When you go into high school, what you want to be, what kind of job you want. Mm-hmm. Huh? When you start working, what kind of house you want. You plan for your future. Now, if you don't plan for a future called retirement, which I'm calling the anchor leg of life, what's going to happen? You're going to decline.
I think that's God. That's absolutely clear. So your book is for retirees or for persons?
No, it's for everybody. It's for everybody who plan to live.
Who plans to live? Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's available online.
Please tell us where and how.
Okay. Amazon has it hard copy as well as Kindle copy as well as audiobook. It's available on my website. It's available from Brian's Bookstore in the Springs and Brian's Bookstores in Montego Bay.
Yes, excellent.
And I also have a podcast which it comes it's on Spotify. Mm-hmm. So every Sunday I come out with a new podcast talking about the ideas of the book, because I really want people to. Ideally, I want HR managers to start putting together people who are 5 years from retirement. Mm-hmm. And then we start helping them to start packaging themselves and planning for that anchor leg, for that wonderful 20, 30 years.
What should the state do before Purnell? What should the state do? Are there things that public policy ought to do to give effect to these considerations?
Immediately. Raise the threshold for NIS, because that's all most people will get. Raise the threshold. Yes. And any kind of pension must be indexed to inflation.
Immediate support for that.
Immediately, we have to do that, because you can't have somebody retired from 1985 and the same dollar. Then the dollar was what?
That money run out, man.
But the dollar was 3 to 1 then.
Let him answer me now. Here is a Purnell, Charles. You know where I come from. I told Ronnie that I get my first short pants at 8 foot, long pants at 14. And I never start wear shoes full time until I go to high school at age 17. Right? And where I come from, no street light, no paved road, no running water.
What you're saying now?
there are so many of us who believe that they are in that position now and them can't make it.
But you see,
Now,
that's where
what can you teach me to do, or what can we come and sit down and plan for those boys way up in the hills
Yes.
who are living in the same condition, who just think it give up, so them grab a spliff and sit down? How can we get to them to tell them, you are wasting the best time of your life? Look, the future, the river is running, the oxygen is clean. Just get up and let's go. How do we get to them?
We need, that's where the public education component
Yes.
is our most critical. Now, let me get my son. He's now he runs our farm in St. Anne. You know one thing that he has just done? He has put a webcam focused on the goat pen, and he's streaming the goat pen on YouTube. And he's want to find a way to monetize that down the road. He want to just see how goat look at goat. Yeah?
Yes.
You hear me?
No, that's fantastic.
Take a piece of country life.
It's a good tour.
Yes, you can go, just
Indeed.
turn on. And then he wants to put a thing in later on design. So if you want to feed the goat,
Yes.
you can press it, you can do this,
Yes.
and you pay $5 or whatever you, and then you feed the goat.
Uh-huh.
And when you press it, it actually give the goat,
something. Yes.
So that's the kind of mindset.
Uh-huh.
So that we have to marry the technology.
But
Another thing that he has done, he has put trackers on his animals, just the lead animal. So anywhere on the farm there, he just looks at his phone and he can see where the animals are.
yes, the others will follow the lead on.
If a thief him cow, him can know who have
You
it.
know, have it.
And know exactly where the cow is and all of that.
But to access this, does it involve a certain level of education? I mean,
That's why the number one thing, you have to have education, because that's the raw material. But use the education not to go beg somebody a work,
yes,
but to solve problems,
Yes.
to put something together. He identified we could not get enough bandwidth from
Where you
Flow
are.
or Digicel. Because, so what we did, we used Starlink.
okay.
We use Starlink, and we have excellent width, so that he has all the aspects of the internet. So it's the kind of thinking, the kind of jobs that we had before. We need people who can, and that's where media comes in now. We have radio, we have TV, we have cable, we can be using it to educating people, to shifting their mindset, giving them dreams and aspirations and visions.
Communication, doctor.
Absolutely.
Communication to a group that is out there who have given up. How can we get to them?
But
What part of us now?
he's telling us-
Ronnie, myself, and
Yeah.
you.
No, he's
can
telling
gather
us.
these guys, and
I'm glad for this interview because it opens up that those possibilities. Can I just give you another thing I wanted to mention? The Minister of Labour
yes,
goes to Canada
yes.
on one of these chronic things, looking at the complaints of the workers. And I was so impressed this morning what he says, Leakim. He says, here is my phone number, here is my email address. Anytime you want to talk to the minister in Jamaica and tell him you have a problem, call me.
Simple as that.
No, to me, this is so astute. It helps overcome so many possibilities and misunderstandings, whether it's employer or employee. He will have to manage it, but he can do that.
You know what he has done?
Yeah.
He has put the liaison officer on alert.
Yeah.
Because if the worker can
Sure.
call the minister,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
liaison
but
officer who is there,
Yeah, must do.
better find out how to
But now you see,
action.
so this is not less work or redundancy for anybody. This is enhancement of life.
It's all about ideas, folks. It's all about ideas.
Yeah.
Generating ideas and giving people hope,
Yeah.
giving people dreams. Listen, you can think it.
Yeah.
You see, the same I remember one of my youngest son. I took my children to school every day, and you hear the children's dream and aspiration. Daddy, when I grow big, I want to build a car. When you just press a button and it just fly over the other cars and so on. Children have all those kind of dreams.
Yeah.
What happened to them?
Yes.
Well, let me give you this quick one, Ronnie. I have a grandson who said to me, Grandpa, you see all this traffic in the road? You guys don't know that in a few years from now we won't be driving on the road, you know. What do you mean?
Where are you going to be?
Oh, we just take our little helicopter from up there.
Oh, I see, and come down. And
So
it's science fiction becomes becomes possibility.
can you imagine?
Yes, there you go.
They are thinking
The
1 minute before Lake Him, I sat by myself and look at the sea. I know that Jamaica is sitting on water on and around us. Do you think we are doing enough to get fresh water to people around the world?
No, we're not. We're not even started. And this is,
Don't you think that is one of the greatest challenge? Water.
because the next world war will be fought over water. Water costs more than oil.
Can you imagine? There you are.
Water is more expensive than oil.
Our diaspora listeners, Leakim Samaj, they should access Amazon in order to acquire your book.
Absolutely. Amazon,
Yes.
the best is yet to come. Dr. Leakim Samaj, the best is yet to come.
Yes.
A psychologist guide for thriving in retirement.
Thank you so much for writing. Thank you so much for sharing with us today. As
Good
always,
man.
good man.
Okay, my
Dr.
brother.
Leakim Samaj, ideator, psychologist, and author now, and enthusiast about the anchor leg of life. I enjoyed that.
Yes, but what is frightening in what he's saying there is that it will not create less work.
No, man.
It will create more jobs.
Yes, but
And the second phase of life is that find something to do,
yeah.
because there are much things can be done.
The problem that I have, or that concerns me, is that there's such a gap between persons like Leakim and the ideas that he generates and the ordinary brother and sister of ours in this society who is struggling for the opportunity to learn to read. You know, and it is to narrow that gap in terms of understanding, of opportunity, of tolerance. That really is a critical hub of bringing the society together.
Can technology help in that?
Yes,
Even for those who are not up to what we call standard of
it
reading.
can. But what we
They can teach themselves,
Yeah.
but technology.
Yeah. But what is
Like
happening
AI
is
can come
yes. But what is happening is that a lot of us are using the technology for diversion, for debasement, rather than for upliftment, and we need to be guided in that regard, and that's a hard part. Yes, that's where your parents, that's where your teachers, that's where your whole mood of society,
church.
of course, all fit in, and we need to have that common purpose. Otherwise, we fritter it away, do we?
Yeah, well, we will have the common purpose. There's a quantity of people that puts into it.
But that's going to make the difference.
But there is a massive problem,
Yeah.
because the alternative to what we're talking about satisfies a base.
Of course.
And
that's
base
the point. Thank you for making it.
Is dangerous
Yes,
too.
of course. That's where you get your problems. We had a query that came to us just while we were talking with Leakim. Someone who remembers us speaking about some United States agency or agency in the United States that helped to get laptops to schools that
Yes,
needed it,
yes.
and asking if we could be reminded. I want to tell our listeners, my recollection is that one group that's doing it is the Association of Alumni of Jamaican Schools.
Yes.
AWUJA, it's called. It's has branches in the United States, but its main hub is in New York. And the Association of Alumni Associations of Jamaican Schools. If our listener gets in touch with them, I don't have a contact person and number, but I'm sure the Jamaican consulate can provide that. And they have done very well in providing technology to schools.
Some of our diaspora people,
Yes,
while
connect
listening
with
now,
them.
can work through us.
Through them. Sure,
Can
happily.
touch base with
if
us.
they get in touch, we'll be happy to
We'll
pass
be
it
very
on.
happy to.
So what a fulfilling and satisfying prospect it is to host the Public Eye on the Bridge 99 FM once again.
Right,
It's our privilege.
Don't be unfaithful.
Yes.
Say what a privilege it
Yes.
is for Colonel Charles to work with you.
And I return the compliment with equal sincerity. Thank you, Jeff.
Someone will just say, is that what Charles wants? And Charles wants to say, him is working with you, not you working with
No, not having
No,
that.
we work together.
Together, and that's how we should live in Jamaica, isn't it? Thanks so much for your company. Check you next week.